Good afternoon, Atlanta and the world. You're listening to the new WCEG Network, WCEGTalkRadio.com. You can watch us live on your smartphone, on Facebook and YouTube. I'm Anthony C. Aiken, co-host of this Veterans Today Talk Radio, and my co-host Herman Anderson will be joining us soon. But for the next 1 hour, you're going to be talking with the Worldwide Community Empowerment Group, where we speak life into the community. Please like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter and on Instagram at WCEG Talk Radio and WCEG Network. Last but not least, all of the topics and opinions of those show hosts and the guests on the show are not those of the WCEG Network, but those of the guests and the hosts. But we thank you for your continued support. Ladies and gentlemen, veterans around the world, today we're just honored to have with us Mr. Tim Craig, who's the director of the Veterans Business Outreach Center for Georgia and South Carolina. Tim retired from the United States Air Force after a 20-year career in personnel management and public project management. Currently, he heads up a 4-person team that visit 14 active duty military installations in Georgia and South Carolina on a periodic basis to teach the SBA Boots the Business curriculum, a free 2-day course on the fundamentals of business ownership and transitioning military veterans, Guard, Reserve, and other spouses to the world of business. His organization is based in Warner Robins, Georgia, and is located in the Georgia Veteran Education Center Transition Resource Center. So with all of those good words, Tim, welcome.
Welcome. Hello, Mr. Aiken. Thank you for having me today. I appreciate your time.
And man, it's an honor for us, for you to take your time, because what we try to do, as we said earlier, is to speak life into the community. And being a former business owner, I was very, very excited when Ms. Greer, Vivian Greer, brought you to our attention to have you as our guest today. And we're so excited. So let's get right into it. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and then tell us a little bit about the VBOC.
Well, first of all, as you said, I am retired Air Force. 20 years, I retired back in 2003 from right out here in Warner Robins, Georgia, Robins Air Force Base. Born and raised in Mobile, Alabama. Joined the Air Force right out of high school, about 18, and retired right at 38. Figured I had to have another aspect of life, and so did a few different things, education, entrepreneurship. And so when I found this particular position, kind of brought all of my military skills to the core and to the fore to allow me to do what I'm doing right now, which is, of course, serving veterans, serve veterans. So the Veterans Business Outreach Center is actually an organization that is up under the umbrella of the SBA. We are the entryway to those veterans who are looking to get a business started. What I like to call us is like the eHarmony of the SBA. We are the connector. We connect veterans who are basically in the active duty through the DoD transition program. We connect active duty members who want to get a business started, those who are currently veterans of any era who want to get a business started, Guard, Reserve, and their spouses. We help them understand how to get connected to the SBA with all the resources and resource partners available to them to start, grow, expand, or even purchase a business.
That's fantastic, because as a former small business owner myself, I did engineering, design, construction reviews, and everything for 14 years. And I understand that process of dealing with the SBA, Small Business Administration. So for our listeners out there, tell us, what are some of the first steps that the individual need to understand and know in dealing with the SBA?
So first of all, the SBA is for anyone. It's for everyone. It's the Small Business Administration. Our goal specifically as a Veteran Business Outreach Center, or VBOC, again, is to connect veterans to the SBA. A lot of veterans are not aware of what the SBA can do, what the SBA offers in their programs and services. So we are on the forefront to ensure that veterans, again, of any era, Guard, Reserve, and their spouses, understand how the SBA can help them to get their business started. So through our Boost to Business program, again, sponsored through the SBA, there are 22 VBOCs across that cover all 50 states. I happen to cover the states of Georgia and South Carolina, but no matter what state a veteran finds himself in across the US, a VBOC is there for them. And all they have to do is reach out to the VBOC, and I'll provide the information to you a little bit later, but just reach out to the VBOC and know what state they're in, and they can assist them in getting those things taken care of. So we actually travel to 14 military bases, as you mentioned, between Georgia and South Carolina. There are 9 bases in Georgia, and there are 5 in South Carolina. So we travel to teach this SBA free 2-day Boost to Business program to those transitioning veterans. Now, if a veteran is already out of the military, has detached from the military, we still offer these services to them. So we have to have resources and places that we visit to also help those veterans who are currently out trying to get a business started, don't know what to do, who do I talk to, how do I help get started, and we can assist them in all those various things.
So I'm glad you said who we can talk to. So that leads me to my next question that I think you could really expound on. So you said a veteran really needs to think about what they want to do and how they want to go about doing it. So do you recommend or do you direct a veteran to go and speak with a SCORE representative at the SBA so they can understand the business prior to moving forward with a business?
Exactly. So SCORE stands for Special Corps of Retired Executives or Entrepreneurs. SCOREs are all volunteer components, been around since the 1960s. They are retired executives, retired entrepreneurs. Their goal is to mentor, to give back, to help assist other veterans or any individual who wants to get started with the business. One of the reasons why veterans want to contact VBOC and SCORE and other resource partners is because we want to help veterans to save themselves stress, time, energy, and money by doing things on their own that we can assist them with. So just like SCORE, we can help save them time, we can help save them money, we can help them minimize the stress of trying to figure out how do I get this business started? What do I need to do? Where do I need to go? Who do I need to talk to? We bring all those things to the fore along with SCORE to help them understand how to get a business started. So SCORE is very integral in that concept.
Yeah, I think that's extremely important for a veteran, a spouse, or anyone to understand, as I call it, the rules of engagement in regards to starting a business. More importantly, can you expound a little bit about on that 2-day seminar and what some of the things that you covered during that 2-day transitional period?
Sure. So the Boost to Business program or the Boost to Business curriculum is a free curriculum, again, targeting veterans, guard, reserve, and their spouses. And we cover 8 foundational aspects of how to get a business started. The very first aspect we cover is module 1, how your military skills prepare you to be an entrepreneur. The military trains individuals to lead, and all the skills that a veteran learns while in the military, skills like being mission focused, critical thinking, problem solving, resiliency, building teams, relationships, all those skills prepare them to lead their own business. We also talk about the various ways that they can actually get involved in business ownership. And there are 5 general ways that anyone, but specifically in this context, veterans can get a business started. The first one is what's called a new business creator. You're starting a business from scratch for you. It may not be necessarily new to the industry, but for you, it's new. A second way is what's called you can purchase an existing business. Some people don't want to start from scratch. There are businesses out there that are for sale, and you can look and do the research to figure out if you want to purchase that business, and in fact, you can purchase a business. Another way is you can be an employee who eventually becomes an owner or CEO of their own business. And there are various stories out there of people who actually just worked at a company, then worked their way up and became owners and CEOs of that company. Another one that's a lot of people are very familiar with is you can actually have a family business, okay? And a lot of businesses in the US are actually family-owned or family-controlled businesses. And one of the last ones, but not the least one, is franchising. Franchising is a very unique way to get involved in owning your business. There's some very unique details about how to go about doing that. But again, we have resource partners in our umbrella of resource partners on the SBA that can help a veteran understand which path is best for them. Because everyone has a different path to walk, and those 5 different pathways or doorways can help a veteran recognize what's best for them to get involved in veteran ownership.
Man, that's awesome. You know, like I said, I started my business back in 1999, and I did attend one of those seminars here in Atlanta. But what I found to be most important for any business, including mine, is to make sure that you have a solid foundation. The solid foundation is, 1, doing your research. Who's the competition? And number 2, especially if you're dealing with, you wanting to do federal type relation contracts, that you understand financial management and making sure that you have a great financial model. Do you discuss that at all with the students as part of that 2-day seminar, the aspects of that?
Exactly. And so kind of going back to those 8 foundation steps. So that second foundation step has to do with, do you have the right idea? Is your idea the right idea for the market at this point in time? Then we also talk about the actual government contracting piece and marketing all by itself. Do you understand how to market your business? Do you understand how the government can help you to contract to get some bids and things of that sort? We also talk about the economics of starting a business: cost, price, volume, operating leverage. And we also talk about the actual legal aspect of starting a business. How do you want to start your business? Do you want to be a sole proprietorship? You want to be an LLC, a B Corp? How do you want to do that? Then we move into the actual finance piece. Where does the money come from to get your business started? And that's a question I get all the time. How can I get some money as a veteran to get my business started? Then we transition into the actual business plan piece, which is a very, very crucial piece of getting a business started. A lot of people are a little bit hesitant or hazy about that business plan piece, but that, to me, is the most crucial part to get a business started. And then that 8th category has to do with understanding how to connect to the SBA and the other resource partners that we have access to in the context of what we're actually getting done. So yes, those are very important. Now, going back to the government contracting piece from the standpoint of veterans, it's very important that a veteran understands that they have certain categories that they can qualify for as a veteran to get their business marketed. One of the things that they want to make sure they're aware of is that they can have their business designated as a veteran-owned small business, and there's benefit to doing that. In addition to that, they can be what's categorized as a service-disabled veteran-owned small business. They can also be a minority-owned small business. And not to be left out, they can also be designated as a woman-owned small business. Now, 2 keys to that. Number 1 is this: whoever's going to be the primary owner of that business is the one who's going to receive that designation. So if there's more than one person, say, for instance, there's a veteran and a non-veteran, to have that business designated as a veteran-owned small business, that veteran has to have 51% ownership of that particular business. Now, another key component to that is this. I get a call often where people say, well, hey, I paid someone $3,000 to get this certification to become a veteran-owned small business. And I tell them, why did you pay someone to do this? Because through our SBA partners, you could have gotten this done for free. So again, we try to save people time, stress, energy, and money in doing things with us that they wouldn't have to do on their own. But again, it saves them money.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that. I go back to understanding the rules of engagement. You know, I'm an old Army guy, and we do nothing without an operational order.
Exactly.
So you need to make sure that you understand the rules and understand the support that you can get from a VBOC or a SCORE, and to help you with the development of your business plan. Now, I'll give you an example. When I retired in '99, I went out and just read everything online that I could and got all the information from the library, and ended up writing about a 200-page business plan. And and one of the SCORE representatives looked at it and said, "Are you out of your mind? Who in the world is going to read a 200? We need to make this thing no more than 10 to 15 pages." Because when you go into a bank or dealing with someone who could be a ghost financier or whatever, they want to get to the bottom line very quickly.
Right.
They want to understand your financial management plan and your marketing plan, the whole 9 yards. So it's very, very important to use someone like a VBOC or SCORE to help you with the development of that business plan, because it's key and essential.
Exactly. I was actually at the Dobbins Air Reserve Base just last week teaching this course to the reservists in that particular installation. And one of the things about the SBA resource partners and friends, we're not competitors. We're all complement each other. We're all in the same role of, as far as helping anyone who wants to get started, but specifically veterans. And so one of the speakers I had was actually a SCORE rep. He was actually from the North Georgia SCORE, and he came in and talked about the business plan. And he used what's called a lean canvas, which is like 9 blocks to kind of fill in to make sure people understand how to get their business started. And so that business plan, again, is crucial. I've had people who have come and talked to me about getting a business started, and they probably had a business plan maybe 1 page long. I said, well, that's probably not going to be adequate enough. I start asking certain questions. Have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? They say, well, no, I haven't. And most recently, I had a person come in. They had a business plan that was about 900 pages long, like yours. I said, no, that's too many pages. We need to break this thing down.
Yeah.
But it is very important as well to make sure people understand this. If you want any funding from any financial lender, they're going to need a business plan. They're like peanut butter and jelly. They go hand in hand. You cannot have one without the other. And so when I ask the questions, I teach this course, how many by showing of hands have a business plan? Very few hands go up. They say, well, I have it in my head. I say, well, you got to take it out of your head. You got to put it down on paper. And we assist people in getting a business plan started through our small business development centers, which are all over the state. There are 18 over the state, through SCORE, which are all over the states, all over the US, and also through Mississippi State University, Boots to Business Revenue Readiness course. That's a free 6-week business plan course that a person can take. And I have all of my people, all of my staff members take that course as well, because they can understand what another veteran is going through, so they can explain a whole lot better why that course is so important. I took the class myself a couple of years ago. We meet twice a week, 1 hour a day. And in that class, I had people in that class from all over the world, from Afghanistan, from Saudi Arabia, from China, because they were very serious about getting that business plan started, because we stress the importance of that business plan. If you want any money, you need to have the business plan.
Now, I would like for you to clear up a myth, because it's very, very important for veterans that go to the SBA, and let's say they get their SBA certification.
Right.
Would you explain to them that even though they have an SBA certification, does not guarantee them that they will get work?
That is exactly right. So through that avenue right there, from the government contracting piece, in the government contracting fees, of course, those actual certifications are available to veterans. Veteran-owned small business, service-disabled, woman-owned small business, minority-owned small business. Those are certifications you can get. To get those, they can help you to market your business the better. They can help you to distinguish yourself from somebody else who may not have those certifications. Now, it does not guarantee you that you're going to get that particular award for that contract. Now, there is something called a set-aside, where the government actually sets aside about 23-25% of contracts for veterans to compete for. That means you are competing with other veterans who are looking to get some of the same contracts that you're looking to get, but it doesn't mean that you're necessarily going to get those, okay? You have to compete. There's a system through that. And so one of our resource partners in the state of Georgia, called Georgia Tech Procurement Assistance Center, GTPAC, or worldwide, they're called APTAC. Those are the individuals, the resource partners who can help a person qualify, get those certifications necessary to get those types of, to actually learn how to bid for those contracts. And they have courses that they teach for free. They have introduction to government contracting courses to help you understand how to get involved in government contracting, what that whole space is all about, so that, again, you're not just going out there shooting in the dark, hoping that you're going to hit something.
Well, that's very, very important, because all individuals that are in the SBA circle must understand that a veteran-owned business, a woman-owned business, a service-disabled veteran-owned business, or whatever category you're under, you're competing with other small businesses in the same category.
Exactly.
So, you know, I had to learn very quickly that, excuse me, I needed to focus on certain agencies to be more direct in trying to obtain business. So I had to narrow my field. Excuse me. So if I, being an environmental engineer, an engineering background and environmental background, I needed to find those agencies that were particular for those particular specialties. Corps of Engineers, you know, EPA, and, you know, those kind of agencies that were in my skill set, which narrowed the field, what made me more, I guess, more competitive. Because when you go into a business or work with an agency, the first thing they're trying to they're going to find out from you, can you solve my problem? That's why you're awarded a contract. That's not awarded because they like you. No, can you solve my problem in the time period that is specified in the government contract? So can you explain a little bit about a contract and how it's broken down so an individual looking for a contract will understand what they're up against?
So a couple of things. Number one, we're not experts in this. That's why we have other resource partners. So I'm going to, first of all, say that anyone who wants to get involved in government contracting, again, they should make sure that, first of all, they should come to our class. Again, our class is free. When a person comes to our class, we open their eyes to a lot of information they did not know about, and we introduce all these various concepts and resource partners to them. That said, Georgia Tech Procurement Assistance Center, they are the experts in the government contracting arena. Now, what the SBA also has from those who are trying to get involved in the government contract, they have a mentor protege program.
There you go.
Where
There
they
you
can
go.
assign you a mentor based on the industry that you're involved in that can help you to navigate that particular industry. And what I try to do is I go around, again, Georgia and South Carolina, meeting people who are have various ideas about certain industries. I try to connect them with people who are already doing what they want to do, people I've already encountered. So for instance, when I was at Dobbins Air Reserve Base a couple of weeks ago, there's a gentleman in class who wants to get involved in logistics. He wants to have a box truck. Great, awesome. Well, I happen to know a woman-owned small business. She actually owns 5 trucks, 18-wheelers outright. I connect those two people together so that he can sit up under her, he can listen to her, she can mentor him on how to get involved in that particular aspect of the industry he's trying to get involved in. Now, the second piece of that is this, and you said something very important, problem. One of the things that we teach people in our secondary module about understanding, do you have the right idea, is this: a problem plus solution will lead you to an opportunity. What problem are you solving?
Correct.
Because whatever your idea is, whatever your product, process, or service is, it has to solve a problem. It has to meet someone's needs. That's why people will take money out of their pocket and come to you or patronize you. What is the value in them patronizing your business? So that problem has to be readily identified. It has to be something that people can resonate with in that context. So again, problem plus solution equals an opportunity. What problem will your product, your service solve to make somebody else's life better? I hope that makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense. This is such a great program for me because, like I said, I was a small business owner for 14 years. And it was sort of my aphrodisiac. I could not wait to get to work every day because I was a problem solver. And, the business that we did, and we did business worldwide, not just in the States, but we had to develop relationships. And that's one thing I think the small business owners need to know, is that it may take you 3 to 4 years to develop a relationship with an agency before you get any work. So they need to understand the different levels of business opportunities. And for instance, you mentioned earlier, and we used to call it the low-lying fruit.
Exactly.
They're low-lying fruits. So can you talk a little bit about that?
So from a relationship standpoint, there's something, again, from the standpoint of relationships, again, the military has taught us how to make and build relationships. I'm sure that you still have friends, contacts, relationships that you built when you first came to the military years ago. So the military is an incubus. It is a networking wealth to make sure that you meet people or you know people who know other people who know how to get things done. Absolutely. And so there's a little phrase that I've coined that I tell people all the time. When it comes to marketing, when it comes to understanding relationships, your network will equal your net worth. Your network will equal your net worth. What that means is this: the amount of people you have in your network, your sphere of influence, people that you can contact or connect with, they're going to help you as a young business understand how to increase your net worth. Because the more people you know, those are potential people who are going to lead customers to you. So your network, and you need to always be marketing. You need to always have your elevator pitch ready to share with anyone and everyone you meet, no matter where you are, what your business is all about, what you're doing, and how they can help you. So that relationship building is significant to everything. And that's why we have so many resource partners in the SBA. It's all about building relationships and knowing exactly who to talk to about getting things done.
And you said a word, a phrase that just resonated in me, that 30-second elevator speech. Because when you meet a client or a client that you want
potential client, everybody's potential client,
you need to be able to expound on your business in such a way that you're going to hold that person's attention. So you need to know your business inside and out. And you also need to know the business of the person you're trying to talk to.
Exactly.
So, you just can't go in there cold turkey and thinking that, well, I'm such and such this guy, a lady's going to give me opportunity. No. So that's where that mentor-protege relationship comes into play, because now you can actually observe and see. And if that relationship is such that they see potential in you and your business, they will spoon feed you and lead you into other clients to help you grow. Because let's say I'm a service disabled veteran. That's what was my company. So they saw benefits in having me as the prime and there being the sub. Now, case in point, we won, and this is a true story, under DLA, Defense Logistics
Agencies. Exactly.
We won a $1 million contract to do business as the prime. But I had to find a huge company, LVI, out of Chicago, to be my sub. You know what I mean? So here I am as a small business with a staff of less than 30 people, dealing with a company with a staff of 30,000, but we're the prime. And we managed that contract, but because we understood the rules of engagement.
And I can share with you a story that happened here recently, a couple of years ago, that there was a woman-owned small business, two women in business for 2 years. They were in the logistics space. They bid on the contract. Again, 2 women in business, 2 years in the logistics space. They bid on the contract. They won the contract. The contract was worth over $40 million. Now, they weren't going to do the work, but they knew how to subcontract that work out to someone else. And what's so important about that is this. Once you get your piece of the pie or the pizza, you have to make sure that you complete that work in such a way that someone else, when they say, hey, have you heard about this company? Have you heard about this company? Try them and they can help you. You have to have that body of work, that reputation that precedes you when it's time for you to bid for those prime contracts. And of course, the difference between sub and prime is this. The prime, think of it as the pizza. You have access to the entire pizza. All of it is yours. As a sub, you can give just a slice of it out to somebody else to make sure they get it done. But all the money comes to you, and you decide how you want to disperse that out to someone else. But again, we can assist you with that as well.
That's why I stated earlier in the show that you need to have a strong financial management plan and making sure that you have your accounting system accustomed to how the federal government will monitor you, how you're spending that money.
Exactly.
Because if you don't have your accounting system set up to the FAR, Federal Acquisition Regulations, under the various categories that they can come in at any time and do an audit and find out how you spent their money, bingo. So
exactly.
You said something was also very, very important. Developing relationships with a contracting officer, all right? And the reason being, these 2 ladies, wherever they were located, the contracting officer made a decision in their mind that we're going to give these individuals the opportunity, but that same contracting officer could say, hey, here's some large companies that you could consider that we already have relationships with to help you with this particular contract.
Exactly.
Because they know the business model.
Exactly.
Only thing you're doing is being the lead and being accountable under your particular category.
Exactly.
So that relationship building, it is so important.
Very much.
And someone like you at the VBOC and SCORE could help that person not only with that business plan, but also the model going towards what category they're going to specialize in.
Exactly. And so another one of our resource partners that we deal with on a weekly, daily basis is called the Small Business Development Center. And here in Georgia, it's called the UGA SBDC, Small Business Development Center. There are 18 offices all around the state. They cover every county in the state, and they are experts in ensuring that individuals who need certain levels of assistance that we can't provide, they are the experts to provide those levels of assistance. They can help them understand how to get their business plan lender ready. What I mean by lender ready, once you put your business plan together and you're going to provide it to a lender, you need to make sure all the I's and T's and all the financial projections are included in that business plan. So the SBDC, Small Business Development Center, they can help you to do that as well. They can also help you, of course, in the government contracting space as well. They can help you with financial projections as well. And we like to share with people in our classes that once you put your business plan together, you need to have financial projections for at least 3 to 5 years, because a lender wants to see how they're going to get their money back from you. You may have the greatest idea in the world, but if you can't prove to a lender or project to a lender how they're going to get their money back, then it's going to be a very hard way to go for you actually getting approved for that particular loan. Now, also in the financial arena, I get a call all the time, once a week, twice a week. hey, I'm a veteran. I heard that there's this free money out there for veterans who can get these businesses started. And I have to break their hearts all the time. To this end, there is zero free money for a new business starting up. Zero free money, okay? Most of the money that helps to get a business started primarily comes from the founder. Who's the founder? You as the business owner. So your founder savings, 70, 80% of the money to get your business started comes from you. That's where it comes from. Okay, now what the SBA can do is they can help you, they can back or guarantee the loans that you get. But for a new business startup, you're going to have to use your money and the resources of friends, family, or another financial institution.
Yeah, and the other alternative too that I found that, for instance, there was a major contract we had with the Denver International Airport. It was a very large firm that needed a representation of a small business. And what they did was to assist me was, we're going to award this contract. We're going to guarantee him X number of dollars on this contract. And they presented me with a contract that I could take to a financial institution that says, oh, Parsons Engineering is backing this person. He has a signed contract for X number of dollars. Then with their backing, we could provide him a $75,000 to $100,000 line of credit until that individual's funding comes in from the contract dealing with the Department of Aviation with, at that time, Denver International Airport. So there are all kinds of innovative ways to do things, but nothing's going to happen unless you have that one word, relationship.
Exactly.
That relationship with that prime contractor that is willing to help you move forward together as a team.
Exactly.
So one other thing I think it's very, very important for individuals to know, especially in the business arena, is marketing.
Right.
What can you tell them about marketing? Because that is extremely important.
It is. It's very important. So we teach, again, in our Roots of Business class, we teach a module that talks about the marketing piece, okay? And one of the things we like to say jokingly, but also seriously, is this. When it comes to marketing, the last thing you want to do is, you don't want to have a grand opening on Monday and a grand closing on Friday. That means that you haven't done a couple of things. You haven't marketed the right way, you don't have the financial wherewithal in place, and you don't have a business plan in place. But in marketing, we talk about the actual secondary market research, we talk about primary market research, and we talk about test marketing. We also talk about the various ways, low or no cost ways that you can market your business. And so through our small business development center partners, they have marketing tools that can help understand where people are buying things, why they're buying things, when they're buying things, how they're buying things, and actually who are buying things. So you can actually target your product, process, and services to that particular market in your area. Now, I also tell people this, not everybody wants to buy your product, process, or service. You're not going to get everybody. The whole world is not yours. You have to make sure that you target those particular people who actually want what you're trying to sell. And also recognize in marketing that everybody has competition. Everybody has competition. It's either direct competition, it's indirect competition, or it's future competition. But we have resources that can help you to market using Instagram, using Twitter, using Facebook. They all have their own marketing component to them, but those we help people understand how to utilize those as well. And even when it comes to the actual internet, the web, you want to make sure that, I tell all my people who are in our classes, that you want to make sure that if you're going to market on the internet, you want to make sure that you understand a concept called SEO, search engine optimization. What that means in a nutshell is this, and people know this all the time. If you look for someone on the internet, once you get to the first page, maybe the first 2 or 3 clicks, if you don't see what you want, guess what? You're moving on. So what SEO does, it helps you to place or position yourself in those first 3, 4, 5 clicks so that your business, your name will be recognized right there. Because when you go to second, third pages, your business is going to get lost in the shuffle.
You know what? That is so true. It took me about a year to realize on doing market search for business. Let's say, for instance, let's just pick one agency, Department of EPA or the Corps of Engineers.
Okay.
Every afternoon, they would be sending out contracts on the web for you to go and take a look at. It took me a while to realize, but by the time they published that the contract's basically already gone.
Right.
So that's where the relationship comes forward, that you can get in on the front end with a contracting officer, so that if something comes up, that person would key in their mind, wait a minute, there is this company, VBOC, that can do this work. Let me send this to them to take a look at. This is before it hits the market, before it hits the world, for you to take a look at. In some cases, it could be a direct opportunity from you, from that organization to your company.
Right.
But even if it's a direct opportunity, the key factor is, can you write the proposal to fit the need and to fix the problem?
And can you do the work that you are commissioned to do?
The work.
Yes. Now, and we also, go ahead. And we also like to share with people that if you want to get involved in government contracting in general, you have to register through what's called SAM, System of Award Management System. If you put yourself there and you put your capability statement there, you're telling that contractor who's with you, this is what we can do. And once you get awarded that contract, you have to actually deliver on that promise, which will give you opportunities coming down the pike. And then, as you said before, Ms. Aiken, they will keep you at top of mind. Let's call this come. They did well before. Let's give them a larger piece of this pizza, larger piece of the pie, and see what they'll do next time. But you have to, there are certain processes that you have to, certain systems you have to register for to put yourself in a position to be selected by these companies who are looking for you.
You said, can they do the work? Okay, they've won the contract and they're on the work. It could be a 3-year contract, a 5-year contract. And every year it's going to be, viewed and analyzed by the government. Did you meet your marks? It's very, 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 very important that you understand that you're being graded.
Exactly.
And at the end of the contract, you're going to receive an evaluation. And that evaluation is going to be worldwide in the contracting management system. So if you don't do a good job, that piece of paper is going to follow you. So it's very, very important, if you win the contract, to be able to do the work.
Exactly. And also people need to recognize that contracts come up for bid every couple of years. Contracts are not infinitesimal. They actually have, expiration dates, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. So every contract that someone currently has now, when that contract comes up for bid, guess what? You can bid on that contract. I tell people all the time as we travel around these 2 states that, just say, for instance, in the lawn care industry, cutting grass, every military base has someone to cut their grass. That's based on a contract. So if you're in the lawn care industry, if you have a lawn care team or business, guess what? Find out when that contract comes up for bid. It's public information. It's not hidden. You just have to know where to look. And when you get yourself prepared for when that bid opens up, guess what? You can bid on that contract, and perhaps you'll win that contract for the next period of years that the contract's going to be awarded for.
Yeah, and it's very important to understand your financial model, because it may sound good. Okay, here's a $3 million contract opportunity. But if you don't put it into your financial model for you to understand how those funds will be used when it comes to your overhead, it comes to your G&A, and a lot of small businesses don't understand the importance of a G&A in general and administration, because that's what you have to use to run your business.
Right.
And then think about the profitability. Your G&A basically never changes, but your overhead and your profitability can change based on the contract. So you need to understand that model. So when you go in, make sure you run the numbers, and at the end of it, does it make sense?
Yes.
Does it make sense for me to go after this business opportunity? Because if I'm only going to get a 2 to 3% margin on this, and I've got to put all this work in, it may not be the right contract for you.
Exactly. We actually teach in class also about certain business scenarios. So say, for instance, you have a business that makes $1 million a year in goods sold, $1 million a year in sales, okay? But based on all the expenses that you have, after you finish paying all your expenses, you only reap a profit of $18,000. Is that a business that you probably want to have? Probably not, because you haven't looked at all your expenses and how those things work out. So it's very important. And we teach people about financial statements, understanding that just like you have a personal checks and balances, assets and liabilities book, you also have to have one for your business. What are the assets and the liabilities in your business? And are they balancing out each month? we can help you to understand how those financial projections should look each and every month.
Every month, a small business owner should take a look at his balance sheet and his profit and loss sheet.
Exactly.
Those are key and essential. And in some cases, when you submit a contract to an organization, they may ask you for your finances. They want to see your balance sheet. They want to see your P&L to see if you are able to manage that particular contract.
Exactly.
And if you don't have an individual that understands government financing, a government financial model, then you could really put yourself in some trouble, because at the end of it, especially if it's a performance-based contract.
Right.
If it's a performance-based contract, they really want to know if you understand how that money is going to be used, and they want to understand where it's going and how you're managing it. So it's very, very important that, you know, these things are taken a look at, because once you start walking down that road, it continues to evolve.
Exactly.
It's an evolving world all of the time. So can you tell a little bit, our listeners a little bit about the importance of, say, having a GSA contract, a General Services Administration contract? Is that important? Should they go after it or what?
Well, I tell people all the time, if you are, again, you want to position yourself, you want to get the education first. You want to get all the education that you can, because your competency is going to increase your compensation. Okay, so once you get that education about how to do business with the government, how to bid on contracts, that's going to open up an entire world for what's out there. Okay, I have a client a couple of years ago. She has a business. She's incorporated. She has a publishing company. She has an authorship company, and she has a handyman company. But she is also taking all those different organizations, and she's actually working with military bases. So she's actually getting AFEs, contracts on base. Now, in the GSA world itself, one of the things that the government or the federal government has done for the past couple of years, they have a program out there called Veterans Enhancement Act. It's called the Veterans Enhancement Act. So working through GSAs, and every state has its own GSA, as a business that's been in existence for 2 years, you can actually look at all of the excess or the surplus equipment they have. And if that surplus equipment is good for your business, you can compete to win, to bid on, and receive those items for your business. Now, give an example of how that works. So say, for instance, you are in the construction business and you may need a bulldozer, okay? A bulldozer may cost $500 to $1 million. Well, guess what? Through GSA, through the surplus industry, they will give you opportunity to actually purchase that bulldozer for maybe $200, maybe $1,000. So there's an industry out there, again, through each state, and of course, Georgia has one as well, South Carolina, every other state, that allow you to understand how that particular process works. And we have point of contact in the state that can help you understand how to get involved in the actual GSA arenas.
Yeah, and GSA is a great arena. I've had many GSA contracts.
Right.
But the thing that veterans need to know, especially if they're working with a GSA organization, is that they work for you to pay them.
Yes.
Okay. So every quarter, so there's a certain percent going to look to be paid for.
Right.
And they're going to come in and do audits, the whole 9 yards. You could get a defense contracting agency to come in and do a complete audit on your business.
Right.
So it's very, very important that you put people around you that understand the rules of engagement, understand the business model, understand the financial models. So if anytime they can come in, bingo. Now, another thing, some organizations may want you to have a clearance. Can you expound on that?
So
why clearance is important if you're dealing with certain agencies.
Right. So military members understand that, of course, to come in the military, you had to have a clearance, and to remain in the military, you had to have a clearance, and certain jobs required higher levels of clearances. So the basic clearance that you get, of course, is a secret clearance, but based on your jobs, that may be a little higher. Like yourself, Ms. Aiken, you probably had a top secret security clearance at some point in time. Those clearances help you in the marketing of your business, also helps you in being awarded contracts for your business to a certain degree, because it lets someone know that you are qualified to do state, federal, local business with whatever industry is there, because you've already proven that you have the security clearances necessary to get access to the information that you need to push your business forward and to be awarded certain contracts. They're very, very important.
Very, very important. I know we did a lot of work for the U.S. State Department, and the U.S. State Department literally came into our office from Arlington, Virginia, to analyze our work environment to make sure that we had a secure GSA safe, that we had a secured room that had, I mean, steel walls, steel doors, the whole 9 yards. And we had to go through various security training classes in Washington, D.C. to understand how to handle, manage, and secure different contracts. So, you know, it is so important for a small business owner to understand all of the rules of engagements, because you can make really, really good money, but you need to make sure you understand all of the aspects of owning a business, dealing through the SBA.
Right. Now, one thing you kind of mentioned a couple of different times was team. And that's very important, because in the military, we understand teams, we build team relationships, and those teams are very important. So one of the things that we encourage every small business owner to have is something called a BAIL team, B-A-I-L. Every business owner should have a BAIL team. What's that stands for? In BAIL, the B stands for banker. Every small business owner needs to have a financial institution, a bank, a credit union as a part of their team. You may need a business bank account. You may need a business credit card. You may need to get a loan. So that banker, as part of your team, can help you with those financial dealings that you have to think about. And the A part of BAIL is an accountant. Every young business, every business owner needs to have an accountant, someone can help them to do their books, keep their tax records where they need to be, make sure all those things are above board. I stands for insurances. Young businesses, or even businesses that are currently open and active, need to have certain insurances to make sure that their businesses have the insurance protection that they need. And the L stands for legal, or an attorney. You're going to need an attorney to sign contracts, vendor agreements, to make sure all those things are done. So a BAIL team in its basic essence is a banker, accountant, insurance agent, and a lawyer. Now, we also added that as well. You may need to acquire a brick and mortar building. So guess what you may need? You may need a real estate agent to help you to get a brick and mortar building, okay? If you have a spouse or a significant other, they need to be a part of your team as well. Also, the IT component. If you are on a virtual, if you are in any computer or e-commerce industry, your computers are apt to go out at any time. Guess what? You may not be the computer expert, but you may need somebody as a computer expert if your system goes down, to help you to get your system back online as soon as possible. So we stress having a team of people that work with and for you to make sure that your business can stay open and profitable as you move forward.
If you don't have a team, it's not going to work.
Exactly.
It's just not going to work. And it is one thing I enjoyed, and I encouraged other small business owners, that veterans are a great asset. And they're not the type that look at the clock, oh, it's 5 o'clock, I'm out the door. We want to get the job done and make sure that the client is satisfied. It may take 10-hour day, 12-hour day, but you take care of your group, you take care of your staff, and they'll take care of you, because no business can be successful by itself.
Exactly.
I don't care what you're into, you'll not be successful by yourself.
And as you said before, I had a 4-person team. So I'm retired Air Force. I have a second who is retired Army. I have another individual who is Air Force, currently Air Force Reserve. And I have a female on my team, great, bright, exceptional. She is a former military spouse. And all of us have military experience. We all bring military experience, and we all bring entrepreneurial experience. My wife and I have had a real estate company for the past 14 years. We started out, learned some things, took some bumps, bruises, but learned how to get it done. My second, he and his wife have a lawn care business. My third, he actually has a small cupcakery. And my fourth, a woman-owned small business. She and her husband actually have a home inspection company. So when we speak, when we talk from experience and also from that military background, because we understand both of those dynamics. And as we're talking to people who are veterans looking to get involved in small business, we can understand where they are. We have that been there, done that. We understand how this process works. We understand some of the bruises that we learned, some of the lessons we learned to get us where we are, to be in a position to kind of share with you that we understand. And we like people to know that you're not alone. We understand what's going on, and we have a team around us to help you to recognize that no matter where you are in the process of your business, you may be starting, you may be in the middle of it, you may be thinking about getting out of it, you may want to buy a business or get involved in franchising. We can help you with that under the umbrella of the SBA.
Well, all that's great. I love the bail concept. It's tremendous. But in addition to that, there are other things that they need to consider, and that's being part of professional organizations.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
So it could be, here in Atlanta, the Atlanta Business League, or the Society of Engineers, or Environmental Protection Group, or whatever it is. You need to be involved with some professional development that's going to help you continue to grow in your particular area. And that also helps you with networking, helps you with relationships, and also you can end up being on a team of a big firm that leads you to more business. So, you need to search all avenues. I know every year, and you said family members, my wife was my VP of HR. So we would leave for 2 to 3 days on a retreat, where we actually sat down and brainstormed for the year of where we wanted to go from a marketing, business development, financial management, relationships, that we can move forward. So after those 3 days, we would bring our entire team back and say, look, here's the roadmap for the year. Because we needed them to buy in.
Yes.
If you don't have people to buy into your vision, show them the door. They need to be gone. Because if they don't buy into your vision and your mission, you're not going to be successful.
Exactly. And I like to share with that, because from the standpoint of, there's just one word that I share with my team all the time, and that one word is growth. How can we grow as a team? How can we grow as an organization? And that growth takes place personally, emotionally, spiritually, financially. Growth takes place in many different aspects, but as a team and what we're trying to do, how can we grow? And so we've been in existence here in this organization for the past 3 years. And so I told my team this week and even last week or so, now we're going to grow. We've been doing one thing pretty well for the first couple of years. Now it's time to branch and grow and do other things to reach more people that are out there. And so in addition to those 14 military bases, we're now going to guard and reserve bases as well. And we're trying to make sure that we connect with those organizations. Now, you made mention of the fact that professional organizations, we tell people all the time, when you want to get a business started, after you get your business started, please make sure you become a member of your local chamber of commerce and the local economic development center, because those two organizations can help you to network. They can help you to find other professional organizations or memberships to join. They can help you to make sure that you're continuing to grow and learn to expand your business as you move forward.
I tell you what, I need to take a little break here a minute and let folks know around the world that we have Mr. Timothy Craig, who's the director of the Veterans Business Outreach Center, the VBOC, and he covers the states of Georgia and South Carolina. And we've just had a tremendous discussion today on the importance of working with his organization and SCORE with the SBA, because they're the organizations that help you veterans, spouses, others to move forward in starting your business. I also got to give a shout out to Ms. Greer, Ms. Vivian Greer, for bringing you on today, because this has just been outstanding. This has really, really been outstanding. And you can let your folks know and other peers know that they'll still be able to see this on Facebook and also on YouTube. And then finally, we got to give a shout out to our queen, our leader, Ms. Penny Rogers, who is the founder and CEO of the WCEG Network. And we've been doing this now for about 6 years. Unfortunately, our co-host, Herman Anderson, one of your Air Force guys, I'll give you guys that for a minute.
All right, go aim high, go Air Force.
You guys, we just missed him today. And we also missed Gustavo Juliao, who's another member of the team that couldn't be with us today. So on behalf of the WCEG Network, the WCEG family, I just want to say to you, Mr. Craig, it's just been a tremendous show. And I think you've given some great information. So before we close, is there any alibi that you'd like to put out there? Because they need to know how to get in touch with you, your name, phone number, email address, etc.
Sure. All right. So we actually have a Facebook page, and it's called Georgia/South Carolina VBOC, which stands for Veterans Business Outreach Center. Georgia/South Carolina VBOC. That's the one way to get in touch with us. I'm actually housed in what's called the Georgia Veterans Education Career Transition Resource Center. We are the only one of our kind in the nation. We are a one-stop shop for everything veteran. We handle entrepreneurship, which is my piece. We handle employment. We handle education, and we also handle community resources as well. This organization is a model for other states who've come in to try to figure out who we are and what we do and how they can replicate this in their states. And we are more than open and happy to help them to understand what we do and how they can get a organization like this in their particular home states. Okay. You can also reach me. My actual office number is 478-218-3934. That's my direct line, 478-218-3934. Any question you have about anything at all, you can reach out to me. My email address is tim.craig@gavectr.org. That's tim.craig@gavectr.org. So I want to thank you guys. I want to thank Vivian for finding me, for reaching out to me. I want to thank you for your time, and I appreciate this. And again, veterans is our mission. Veterans are our goal. We want to help sure that veterans of any era, of any branch, understands how we can assist them no matter where they are to get a business started.
Now, if they go to these sites, will they actually have dates when you have your 2-day seminars in what states?
I can give you another website for that, but yes, it's actually on our gavector.org site. Yes, there's a link there that kind of leads you to our calendar that lets you know exactly who we are. But I can actually put that in the chat box as well to kind of give you an idea of how to find the courses that we're going to have. As a matter of fact, I have a course coming up in Ellenwood, Georgia at Oglethorpe National Guard Armory. In November, I want to say 19th, or what's that? The 18th and 19th. And again, we're all over the state of Georgia, at every military base, and of course, we're expanding as well as we move forward. But I'll put that information in the chat box so that you want to find a class, you can look at this link and it'll take you right directly to our calendar of classes that's offered.
Yeah, that's good information, and we'll make sure that this will be posted again, like I said, on the on our Facebook page and YouTube. And we're going to direct our listeners around the world to go to those 2 sites and listen to this show today, because the information is just powerful. And I was, like I said, I was geeked out, excited, because I did this for 14 years and understood it and understand it, and I still try to provide the information to other veterans so they could produce something that they value, a small business. So again, on behalf of Ms. Rogers, our leader from the WCEG Network, and to Ms. Vivian Greer for bringing you to our show, I just want to salute you. That's the way the Army does it, okay? I want to salute you and being our guest today, and thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you for your time, sir. I appreciate it.
Okay, take care. Bye-bye.